What's up, Facebook? Recovery Fitness going live. Saturday, 2 o'clock. Also doesn't feel like a Saturday. I don't know what it feels like anymore. Wait for some of you guys to join in with me today. Hope everybody's kind of hanging in there. I know it feels kind of a lot of ups and downs lately. At least it does for me anyways. What does everybody have planned for their weekend of solitude? Hoping you guys can leave some comments today, any questions or anything you want to add. That would be greatly appreciated, adding to our discussion here today. Leave some comments now. What are you guys up to? What are you up to today? It's a Saturday. What does everybody have planned for the weekend? Or what's helping you get through the weekend? What do you feel like you need to help you get through the weekend? Hi, Betsy. Chime in here, guys. I want to see what you're up to. Out of my own boredom. So the past few days, I've been doing a book discussion out of the book called, Outrageous Openness. This is a book by Tasha Silver. So I've kind of just been picking some random readings out of here and, sharing my thoughts and feelings on them, but also engaging with you guys in the comments. So again, please feel free to comment with any questions or things you want me to talk about. I'll kind of periodically be checking the comment box off to the side here. I've kind of been giving like a little background of the book before I open, for those of you who haven't seen any of these videos. So Tasha Silver is... She graduated from Yale with a degree in English literature. Along the way, she fell madly in love with yogic philosophy. So again, a lot of these chapters in here are very short, only a couple pages long. And it's a lot of people writing in and sharing their struggles and their stories with her and her responding. So it's pretty interesting. She talks a lot about the divine order. And, I ask you guys to have an open mind when we're having these discussions on here. And taking the idea of the divine order and spinning it in your head, whatever it means to you. Everyone has their own personal relationship with their higher power, so you can take that how you will. So Tasha defines the divine order, says that the perfect solution to any problem is already selected if you allow yourself to be guided. Tasha also says the divine source says there is a natural universal abundance that knows how to meet every need. Man, I feel like that's something I'm kind of struggling with today. Yes, I will post the book name and the author real quick just so you guys can see. Letting the divine take the lead. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm doing my best to kind of keep as busy and keep somewhat of a schedule in my own life so I can have some structure and some peace of mind with that. But I guess I'm finding the last couple of days that I'm kind of letting myself get overwhelmed a little bit. We've been constantly talking about fear and letting go the past few days. And I'm doing my best to do that, but I feel like there's moments where I'm letting it creep in, and maybe I really haven't been seeking divine order. There is a perfect solution out there for any of my problems that I'm having, and I guess I'm having trouble allowing that to be let in right now. That's why I'm talking about it, because it's a struggle, and it's important to talk about our struggles right now. Tasha also says, like most people, I find that I need to be reminded about divine order over and over because we forget. The ego truly thinks it's in charge. It believes that turning our problems over to a greater power is ridiculous. I know during difficult times like this, it's very hard for us to trust whatever greater power is out there, because a lot of us are kind of stuck in that moment of worry and all we see is darkness and kind of thinking about the worst possible outcomes. So I think it is challenging for us to turn our problems over to something like that, for sure. Our culture is all about hard work and control, but zilch about letting go and following the lead of a higher power. So yeah, I kind of like to just give you guys that brief little background. I think those are important things that Tasha shares. So yeah, we'll get right into the reading today and just kind of go from there. So bear with me, whatever's going to come out is going to come out today, but I honestly still feel like it's really important for me to be on here and connect with you guys. Our little online virtual recovery world seems to be growing. John's leading these runs in the morning and letting you guys follow along on Facebook Live, and Kirsten's been sharing some readings. I was finally able to attend Brian Quinn's online meditation earlier this morning on Facebook Live, and that was really great and very much needed. Just kind of pause all the crazy thoughts going on right now. Just kind of pause and be mindful and just sit. So yeah, I'm just continuing to encourage you all, if you are a first timer to these videos, or if you are returning for the umpteenth day in a row now, it's great. Yeah, I'm just encouraging you guys to continue to just check in with our virtual videos, and it is our way of connecting with you. Our recovery community is very important to us. It's very important to me. We want to stay connected with you guys any way that we can, especially during these times that are really challenging. But this is also for us too. This is helping me too. So, as challenging as it is at times to be on camera in front of the entire world, I just feel like it's important to be here with you guys right now. So we're just gonna roll with it today. So roll with me. All right. So today's reading is called Shopping with God. And she always starts with a quote. So today's quote is from Rob Bresney. He says, "Pronoia is the suspicion that the whole world is conspiring to shower you with blessings." Here's another experiment. Move through a given day, seeing the world as a living, pulsing, loving force longing to assist you. Feel that you and this energy are one. A good prayer can be, "Today the divine will show me the way. I'm open to all messages, signs, and omens. I'll move as if there's a force of love waiting to aid me in every area of my life, big or small." I often feel I get divine help with trivialities, so I have faith when the big ticket issues come too. Once I had only a few hours to find a dress for my cousin's wedding, and I had just come back from traveling, so I was on a tight budget. Immediately, I invoked divine order, affirming that the perfect dress was picked and I would be guided to it easily and effortlessly. Then I watched my body's impulses. Soon I felt unexpectedly but intensely drawn to that clothing emporium straight from the 7th rung of shopping hell, Ross Dress for Less. Actually, if you really want to master shopping with God, just go there. Once you've trounced Ross, you're ready for anything. I don't think we have any Ross stores in Rochester. When I walked in, the checkout line snaked to the back of the store and on forever. That actually makes me think of Marshall's on a busy Saturday. There's 5 million people in line. Discarded clothes covered the floor like the scene of a shipwreck. Babies were bawling. Someone screamed at a cashier for a refund. Celine Dion promised loudly over the speakers that a new day was coming. I persevered, clinging to the divine order like a life raft. 10 minutes later, I spied a wadded-up abandoned dress on a counter. Sleeveless, raw purple silk, short, a little sexy, my exact size. A Donna Karan marked down in true Ross fashion from $175 down to $19.99. Sold! As I walked to the never-ending line, 3 more registers suddenly opened. While I waited, a redhead behind me with a sweet smile said, "Wow, totally hot dress. Want these? They're the exact color," and shoved a pair of dangly earrings in my hand. In and out in 20 minutes. Moving through the world open to constant help gets easier and easier with practice. Yes, some days it's much more subtle, some more dramatic. But why not try? You could practice this for a full 21 days to let your brain waves reset into the new pattern of thinking. And anyway, if you're not happy with the results, you can always have your cold dog-eat-dog lonely galaxy back. No questions asked. Full refund. People often act as if there's no divine assistance. Why not pretend that there is? Kind of a short one today. You know, it's funny, I think one of my videos a couple days ago, we talked about developing habits. And I think I actually posed a question to you guys because I had thought in my head, I heard somewhere that it does take 21 days to form a habit. And she confirms it here, so that's good to know. So we can practice anything for those 21 days and, you know, develop it into a habit. And eventually down the line, it just becomes a way of living. That's kind of what I've done, you know, with this book, but, you know, so many other things in my life, I guess. You know, just taking on different practices, keeping an open mind, taking suggestions from other people and just putting in the work, you know. Some days I don't feel like doing the work, but that's normal, you know. But I just kind of do it anyways. And a lot of that has seemed to become more than a habit. It's kind of become a lifestyle. I mean, obviously her example about the dress in here is, you know, some of you might be thinking, well, that's just silly, you know. I'm supposed to put my good vibes out there and I'm supposed to be guided to the perfect outfit in the store, you know. So take it how you will. You know, that was something that had just worked for her, but the whole idea behind that, you know, is just basically kind of that idea of letting go that we continuously talk about, you know. I'm going to read her prayer again in the beginning. Today the divine will show me the way. I'm open to all messages, signs, and omens. I'll move as if there's a force of love waiting to aid me in every area of my life, big or small. So, you know, she was looking for the perfect outfit, so that was something that was maybe a little bit smaller. But the idea behind that is that she was able to just, you know, open up whatever energy she was feeling and, you know, allow that force of love in, allow that divine order in, you know, and having an understanding that there is this big force of love out there in the universe and that if I'm open to it, it can help me in every area of my life. You know, all of this stuff has just been so crazy relevant lately, you know. I believe that there is a force of love out there. And, you know, I believe that it can help me in, you know, almost all areas of my life. But it's taking the action to have that open mind. You know, like I said, I think the past couple of days I've let a lot of the weight of everything that's been going on. I feel like it's just now finally starting to sink in days later. And it feels really freaking heavy some days. And when I let that sink in, what happens is I start playing the what if game in my head. You know, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I never return back to work? What if all my money's gone? What if I run out of groceries because someone bought all the chicken in Wegmans? You know, like I can play the what if game for a long time. You know, I'm sure we're all pretty good at that if we allow it. And what I've had to do in those moments, like I've literally, you know, for me, I've really worked a lot on my self-awareness over the past couple years. And again, that's just one more of those things that takes practice to notice, you know. Practicing mindfulness helps me be more aware of myself and my thoughts and my body. You know, so it's like when all these things do come up for me in the past couple days, like I notice that I'm very aware of it. For me, it's this overwhelming internal physical feeling. It's kind of, you know, that familiar anxiety. And so I notice that and I feel it. And I'm finding it to be a challenge to move through this. Normally, I feel like I do pretty well with noticing it and working through it. In the past couple days, it's been a challenge, right? But I'm noticing it. It's there. And I'm just trying to pause, you know, just slow down and pause, you know. There's so many what ifs on my mind and so many unanswered questions. And that's for all of us. You know, we're all in the same boat here. And I'm trying to just slow down and invite that divine order in. You know, I believe that there is a solution out there for all my tiny little problems right now. You know, and there's that part of me that feels guilty because there are people who are really sick right now, and there are people who, you know, are in much worse situations than I am, and there are people who are really struggling with their addictions right now, you know. And so then there's this part of me that feels guilty for my own struggles. But I was able to have a conversation with a friend, and I'm like, you know what? Like, yes, some people's situations are worse than others. You know, some of these situations are a little bit more heavy and some are not. But also to be kind to myself and don't discredit that I have feelings too. You know, I continue to do that. I continue to push my feelings aside and try and put everyone else's first. But I'm trying to remember that, you know, my concerns are as valid as everyone else's, you know, and it's okay for those to creep in, and it's okay for those to be a real concern. But what I'm trying to do is invite that divine order in and trust that there's a solution for every single one of these little problems I have going on in my head right now. I do believe that. I do. And I'm trying to just slow down and invite that in. It's really freaking challenging right now. It is. Um, you know, going back to when she was saying like she originally, you know, she originally said like she needed to buy a dress, and she says immediately I invoked divine order, affirming that the perfect dress was picked and I would be guided to it easily and effortlessly. And I'm trying to think about that in the sense of like all my own little issues and worries right now, right? If I invite the divine order in, you know, I can affirm that there are solutions to all these problems. And again, if I'm open to it, that I'm going to be guided to it easily and effortlessly. You know, I do have to look for those little things. I have to be aware of it. I can't be shut off to it. You know, if I'm laying in my bed under the covers for a straight 48 hours, you know, I can't really be open to seeing solutions. I can't really be open to my higher power trying to guide me, trying to leave these little breadcrumb trails for me to follow to those solutions. You know, if all I'm doing is isolating and literally doing nothing else, how am I ever gonna be guided? You know? So, despite having those fearful moments of where I do want to climb in bed and hide under the covers and stick my head in the sand and shut out all the craziness of the world right now, you know, I have those thoughts. I have those wants at times. But despite that, I'm getting up. You know, for me, I'm doing as many of these online virtual meetings as I can. I'm still showing up on here every day, and that's not to give myself a pat on the back, but it's encouraging you guys to still show up for other people today. You know, um, it's about keeping these interactions going. It's it's really important. It's really important for us to continue to show up for our loved ones and maybe people that we don't even know that well. You know, reaching out to our rock covery community. You know, there's a lot of you out there I've never met, but you guys all follow the rock covery page, so you're a part of this community too. So I'm able to continue to just show up and be here every day and, you know, embrace all these conversations that happen. You know, I don't plan for those. I don't know what people are going to comment on here. But through that interaction and through this effort that I'm making to be here, you know, brand new conversations are able to come up. New solutions are able to come up for me. You know, things that I didn't think about or things that I didn't know would happen when I woke up today. You know, um, I don't. I still kind of laugh at her description of the chaos cluster of the store. You know, with the someone screaming at the cashier and the line a mile long and the babies crying and Celine Dion promised loudly over the speakers that a new day was coming. Like I've just been in stores when it's a cluster like that, and it just kind of makes me laugh. You know, um, I'm literally just picturing Marshalls being a cluster. Like, I don't know. Anyways, the whole point of that is it makes me laugh. And you know what? If I can have 10 seconds of laughter amongst all this craziness, then I'll take it. You know, I constantly have a conversation with somebody important in my life, and he always tells me, you know, one of the most important things we can have in this life is being able to laugh at ourselves. It is so important, you know. It's, you know, you hear the cliche saying that laughter is the best medicine, and I truly believe that, you know, especially when we have a lot of heavy stuff going on. You know, there's a part of me that thrives in the chaos, and then there's times where it feels like it's too much to handle. But I love when, you know, a good friend or a family member like cracks a sarcastic joke, or, you know, we notice something funny, whatever it is, those little moments of laughter and light that creep in. Like, I live for those. I love those, you know. A sarcastic person at times. That is kind of my sense of humor. And I love when other people give that back, right? Because it's this instant little kind of connection we have just for that split moment, and we can just step back and laugh about it. Even if it's for 10 seconds, we're just kind of pausing and putting the heaviness on hold, you know. Um, I love what she says about moving through the world open to constant help gets easier and easier with practice, like anything. Some days it's much more subtle, and some it's more dramatic. But why not try? I think that's one of the most important things in this reading that she says. Why not try? What have you got to lose by trying something different? I mean, really, what have you got to lose by doing one little thing different today? You know, um, I've talked about my faith quite a bit on these videos the past few days, and it's something that's grown important to me, and I'm not going to get into what that looks like because it's a very personal relationship to me, as it is for each and every one of you. But it's something that I'm hanging on to, especially during these times, So, can you guys do that for yourselves? Even if that's your faith is like even the tiniest little bit of something that's within you, and maybe it's not there all the time, is this something new that you can try? Can you invite that force of love in? Can you invite that universal force into your soul for the day? Can you give up those worries and those fears? Can you give up trying to control everything and planning your entire day down to the last little minute detail? Can you give that up? Can you trust that there is a plan for your day? Can you trust that there is a plan for, every little problem that we're all encountering right now? It's really hard, I realize in my life that I kind of have become a planner. I feel better with structure. And I'm not only posing this to you guys, but this is for me too. Can I slow down? Can I stop planning every little single tiny detail and just trust that my day is going to go the way it's going to go, regardless of what direction I think that is or not, and that's something that we can all try to do, right? You could practice this for a full 21 days to let your brain waves reset into the new pattern of thinking. Because that's what happens when we're doing something new over and over and over. You're creating this pattern in your brain, and you're creating these brand new pathways that haven't been there before. Can you do that for yourself? Is there something new that you've been wanting to try? Does any of this have any interest to you? If it does, we can talk about it. If you want a private message and talk about it, we can do that too. Are you willing to just let go and invite whatever this force of love is? Are you willing to invite that into your heart today? There's no harm in trying, As she says, if you're not happy with the results, you can always have your cold dog eat dog lonely galaxy back. No questions asked, full refund. Try whatever that new habit is for 21 days. If you don't like it, okay. You don't really lose anything, right? You can kind of go back to the way you were doing things before. If it really doesn't work for you, if it really doesn't work for the flow of your life and the way you move through your own little world, that's okay. Go back to doing what you're doing. But there's no harm in trying. Let's see what some of you guys have said. So Lisa says, not related entirely, but maybe divine order as a message, or a reminder that you putting yourself out there is just what the world needs. But for my wild Saturday, I'm drinking tea with lemon, and my tea has this message. Compassion has no limit. Kindness has no enemy. Nothing to lose by being compassionate and kind. Very true. And I get my own hashtag be like Chelsea. Brian Quinn says, whatever thoughts you are having, they are never crazy. They are just thoughts based on fear, which is totally understandable. They just aren't crazy. Very true. Very true. And thank you for those words, Brian. I think sometimes we often do have those thoughts about ourselves, like, oh, I'm being crazy. My actions are insane. What is happening in my life right now? What is this giant cluster of things that is going on? I feel out of control. All of that. Do you guys have those moments where you're stressed out? You feel like everything's out of control and not in your own control? Is that hard for any of you? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Carrie says, I can relate to that. I have become increasingly aware of how I have become a planner. Not that planning is a bad thing, but I have recognized that my planning is based on anxiety and wanting to feel in control. Yeah. Yeah, hit the nail on the head on that one. Absolutely. Because it is what's underneath a lot of it, right? It is fear-based. It is anxiety. So often many of us, I mean, I guess I'll just speak for myself. I'm the same way. So I feel like if I have a plan that I'm in control of something, you know, oftentimes those underneath emotions are feeling out of control. They do feel crazy. And maybe they aren't. Brian has a good point. Maybe they're not crazy. Those are just my emotions that are based on the fear which is going on right now. So my way of having some type of control in my life, in this new life for all of us, where none of us have any control about the greater picture that's going on, I start planning, because that's one little tiny thing that I can have control over. But what I'm noticing is that when I am planning to the umpteenth degree, that I am just creating more anxiety for myself. I am setting these really high expectations for myself. And because I'm human, I can't meet every single one of those expectations. And so then I get let down because the expectation wasn't met. And on and on with this negative cycle. Down the rabbit hole we go, right? When things don't work out my way, how do I react? Can I accept that maybe they weren't supposed to go that way? Or do I freak out? Do I try and control even more, in efforts to save this one thing that didn't work out? It's kind of like this vicious cycle. What else are you guys up to this weekend? I want to hear some more of those comments. Lisa's hanging out, drinking her lemon tea. It is still Saturday, so, what do you guys normally do on a lazy Saturday? Or an active Saturday, just out of curiosity. I love being able to be on here and connect with you guys, and it's not obviously the most ideal, but that's okay. It's something, right? I can't give you all hugs in person, which kind of sucks, but we can give each other the virtual hugs and the virtual thumbs up and the hearts and all the emojis on there. We do what we can to stay in touch with each other, There's almost this, at least for me, I've noticed, there's almost this comfort and sense of ease being able to write in comments as opposed to saying them face to face to a person. I think some of us have that, that fear a little bit of being in those social situations and feeling awkward and not really being able to say everything that's on our minds and our hearts, so we kind of hold back. But, if we're gonna work on being positive and finding the silver lining and everything, can you guys find a silver lining using these platforms, using the Facebook Live, commenting on your phones, on your computers, any of these Zoom meetings where you don't want to show your face, you can turn the video off. Are you finding that you're able to connect a little bit more? Are you finding that you're able to be a little bit more honest with other people? And if that works, then great, Carrie says she is cleaning the house today. Gonna go for a walk later. I have to go back to work on Monday, so I'm trying to take care of things here before then. Awesome. And that's that importance of staying busy, right? As Carrie said in the previous comment, planning is not necessarily a bad thing. There are times where we need plans in life. And some of us do really well at that and some of us don't. I'm grateful that my ridiculous family is full of over planners down to the very last detail. That works in some situations. I laugh. I was actually thinking about it yesterday when we go on vacation, like we have itineraries and we have chore lists for who's doing dishes that day and who's taking care of meals that day. We have these ridiculous plans and it helps, But like I said, we can let go. We can kind of let the day flow naturally. If I we all have those responsibilities, right? So we all have to get up and do the things, whether any of this is going on or not. We have, there are things in my day that I know I need to do. A lot of it revolves around work. I can make a list. I need to call this person. I need to email this. I need to, whatever, I can have that little checklist. There's nothing wrong with that. But when there's a shift in my day, when there's a shift in direction, And when there's a change of plans, when there's a wrench thrown in my day, something unexpected and inconvenient, you know, is it really inconvenient? Am I able to just brush it off and just say, okay, this is the new direction we're going for the day? Or am I going to freak out over it? Am I going to try and control it and manipulate it to death, because it didn't go the way that I had planned? Can I let go and gracefully move through my day? That's just something that I've personally been trying to work on. Mo! Mo's working at the cafe today, listening to live feeds for the first time and really enjoying it. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Jonathan is also cleaning today. Wow, you guys make me feel like I need to go clean. Jeez. Doing some at-home workouts and planning for my long run tomorrow morning. Can't wait. Brian Quinn is also cleaning and hopefully a hike. Gosh, you guys are so productive. Your houses must be immaculate. That is awesome. Those are one more of those little things that, we can do. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I find if my physical area, right, my environment, I find if that is cluttered and dirty and full of dishes and laundry here and laundry there and more laundry over here. I'm finding if that my little area is cluttered that I feel a little bit more anxious on the inside. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. So there are times where I can, take a half an hour or an hour out of my day and say, all right, I'm going to put some awesome tunes on, jam out, and just clean. I'm going to organize. I'm going to tackle this one little cleaning project over here. I'm going to take half an hour today and go through this giant stack of mail and paperwork that's been building on my desk for 6 months. I can take the time to do those little things, and once I can declutter what's around me, I can start to declutter what's in here. Jonathan says, silver lining of all of this is I'm picking up things I used to love. Silver lining of all of this is I'm picking up things I used to love doing when I had more time. Playing guitar, drawing, writing, more running, and working out at home. I love that. That honestly makes me so happy to see. And that's just another really good reminder. Like I said yesterday, I know some of these talks start to sound a little redundant, so I apologize if I'm kind of stuck on repeat over here. But that's what I was saying earlier. I didn't wake up knowing any of these comments were going to come in today. This is my divine order working in my life right now. I'm reading these things, and now I'm getting all these, I'm getting these little senses of direction that maybe I can go for the rest of my day. They're reminders for me, and I want to pass them on to you guys. And that's another one of those great reminders I've been hearing a lot lately. There are so many of us who have ridiculous amounts of downtime right now. And, there are moments where it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But then if I pause for a minute, I think about all the things that I complain that I never have time to do anymore. I'm right there with you, John. Like getting back to my artwork, getting back to my drawing. I always complain that I never have time to draw anymore. What's my excuse now? I don't have one. I really don't. So I guess that's my way of reaching out to you guys, asking you to hold me accountable to start doing some of these things. Do you guys have an accountability partner? Is there anyone that you can tell today, be like, hey, I've really been wanting to do this thing, can you give me some gentle reminders of when I'm not doing it? Or, can you check in with me to say, hey, I know you mentioned that you really like doing this thing and that you've been wanting to pick it back up. Have you done it yet? Are there people you guys have that can check in with you? But yeah, I love that idea of just getting back to those things that mean the most to us, that fill our souls. There's a lot of those things on there. I believe we all have those things within us that make up who we are as individuals. And I had a lot of those at a young age. My drawing, my creativity, music, things I cared about. And for me, I really started to lose a lot of that the more my focus and my life became more about my addiction and drinking and partying. I really started to lose myself. I started to lose who I was. I started to lose all of those things that made up the good parts of Chelsea. It's kind of like this candle flame that just continued to get snuffed out, like the more and more I drank. And I really lost myself a lot over those years. I really just got to a point where I had no clue who I was anymore. I couldn't tell you anything about me. I couldn't tell you what I liked. From the outside, it appeared that I knew what I was doing. I would just kind of go along with what everyone else was doing. But on the inside, I just completely fell apart and there wasn't really anything left. And, you know, that's, you know, if we're going to continue to be adamant and be diligent about finding a silver lining in every single day, you know, like that's what this downtime is right now, you know? Can we shift our perspectives again and focus on a silver lining for today? You know, is there a silver lining for all of this downtime we have being quarantined right now, you know? What can you do with that time? Um, what are those things that you guys have, you know, haven't picked up in a while? Have you not picked up a guitar in a while? A pen, a paintbrush, you know? Whatever it is, you know? Are there things that you want to get back to making time for? The important things, the things that make you who you are. You know, Mo says like increases achievability. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Because if I just keep it in my head, like, hey, I'm gonna go run 3 miles later today. You know, if I just keep that in my head, and then I just kind of keep pushing it off and pushing it off, and then the day gets later, and then I'm like, I don't really have time for that. I'm very guilty of that, by the way. Sorry, John. You know, if I just keep that to myself, I don't really have much accountability, right? So if I message somebody or if I let somebody know, be like, hey, this is my goal for today, even if it's something as simple as I don't know, I'm gonna make it a point to clean the kitchen today. You know, can you keep me accountable? Can you ask me if I've actually done this task? You know, that does increase the achievability. Yeah, good point, Mo. Awesome. So I am babbling like all over the place. This is more so becoming an outlet for me, obviously. But again, the whole point of this is for us to be able to connect with you. You know, I've enjoyed this. It actually, as much as I'm talking about my own stuff, it's getting me outside of myself. It's getting me outside of that want to go hide from the world in bed. You know, it's getting me up and it's getting me on here to communicate with you guys. Wow, I just got called out. John, yes, lol. I was gonna say you're behind on training a little. Yeah, I just might be. I'll let it slide for now, though. Thanks, John. Yeah, I guess I do need to get out there and run, huh? Take advantage of it. That's right. So, again, we're here for you guys. We really enjoy connecting. Please continue to stay tuned to the Rock Recovery Fitness Facebook page. We are, you know, continuing to do all these different videos so you guys can tune in at all times of the day. And we're starting to fill those time slots a little bit for your entertainment and convenience. So if there's anything that we are not doing that you guys want to see, if there is anything specific that you are really needing guidance or help in, please let us know. We'd love to chat with you guys. So please stay in touch, message us. And again, if you're struggling, please do not hesitate to reach out. You are not alone, and you don't have to be during this time. So thank you guys for tuning in today, and thank you for getting me up and out of bed. It's definitely much needed. And I hope to see you all tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll be right back here doing another reading. But yeah, thanks for tuning in today. Happy Saturday, guys.